Hi everybody, in our last session we learned about the importance and requirement for certain frameworks and industry standards to have backup strategies for 365 inboxes. Be it protection from malicious insiders or having a strategy for incident recovery, those are critical functions and feature sets. In this session, Nicholas will take us through the consoles again to help us become familiarized with the rich feature sets that Acronis has. We're going to focus around email security. These proactive strategies are critical in hindering the attack kill chains. So working with email security functions and feature sets are a must for Acronis engineers and anyone who's administering from the console. CyberProtect Cloud Modularity is something that we are familiar with right now. We're going to focus on the Advanced Email Security Pack. It's a modular feature, lots to turn on, lots to turn off, lots to see, lots to learn. Be it basic configuration, deployment in trial, management and familiarity of features, again, is something that we're going to address. Account responsibility, role-based access control, email security will counters, anti-malware, anti-spam, URL scans, DMARC analysis, anti-phishing, impersonation protection, file attachment scans, and how can we disarm malicious content. There's also a lot of reconstruction ability. It's an incredible amount of visibility through Acronis console and the graph of trust. If you're using 365 or Gmail mailboxes, this is an important session for you. Nicholas does a great job of getting everything set up and running quickly and efficiently. I hope you're making notes. You might have to watch this video more than once. There's some very important configs coming your way. Enjoy the demo, and we will see you on the next video.
Thank you for having me again.
Looking forward to this one, email security. This one's going to rock.
Email security is very important and adds an extra level of protection to your customers' workloads, just to add another barrier to prevent threats from coming in. Now,
I think that's just the natural flow from the last time around where we were learning how to attach our mailboxes, to now actually getting a little bit of resilience in the configuration. I think that's critically important. So go ahead, man. Let's do this.
Okay, great. Of course. So with Acronis CyberProtect Cloud, we have our standard product, which has the backup and recovery and some of the basic security and endpoint management solutions. But on top of that, we have some advanced packs that add extra functionality and extra levels of protection for you to offer to your customers. And one of those is our email security solution. Now, this is our advanced email security pack, and it is something that you can add on to an existing customer, or when you're going ahead and creating a new customer, turn that feature on to ensure that they have email protection. Now, I'm going to go through the process of what you need to do for a bare minimum to get started with email security. So let's go ahead and create a new customer. So we go to the top right of the screen, and we go and click the new button and create this new customer. We've got a nice customer creation wizard here, and I'm just going to call it demo email security, just for something simple here. I'm going to leave it in trial mode. Obviously, we can go straight into production, but I always recommend creating customers in trial mode. For my use case here, for the management mode, I'm going to put them in managed by service provider so that me as a partner can manage them without having to log in as the customer. I can manage them directly while logged in as the partner at the partner level. I'm going to leave the security settings on default and move on to create the first administrator. So I'm just going to call it email security.admin, put my email address in, and move on to the next steps. We don't have to add any of this extra information if we don't need to, so let's move on. Now, with our solution, we have the three primary services: protection, file sync and share, and cyber notary. But because we're just doing email security, we don't need to have any of these other services, but just note that they are available for you to offer. Now we can choose the billing mode for the customer. I'm going to leave it on per workload as a default, and I'm going to choose the advanced packs that I need. Now the advanced packs, as I mentioned up front, add extra functionality, and you can hover over the tooltips to see what it is these extra functionalities offer. So with email security, obviously, it offers things like anti-spam, anti-phishing, anti-malware protection, and stuff like that. So let's just disable the features and functionalities that we don't need, the advanced packs, and just continue with email security, because we just showing you what the bare minimum we need to get started with. You can always add these advanced protection packs on at a later stage when your customer requires that functionality. Now for here, we're going to just turn off what features we don't want and need for this particular customer, right? You don't need any of these features. You turn off any, well, we actually do need to have some of the advanced, the standard protection here, but I'm going to leave it on the Microsoft 365 for now, right? Right. If you don't want to sell backup, you can set the quota to 0 if you need to, right? But we do need to have some standard features enabled. What we do need to set here is the limit for the email securities. But we want to set a quota for that, and how it's licensed is per protected workload. So for here, I'm just going to set, in my particular use case, following on what we did for the last time, 25 mailboxes that we're going to protect with 25. Right, I'm going to set the cloud storage to 0 because we're not offering any backup at this stage. Of course, backup is an excellent way to further protect your Microsoft 365, but we're focusing on email security here. So I'll just add that to 0. Disable disaster recovery and disable local backup. Right. I'm going to click done, and this is going to create this customer. Once the customer is created, we can then go and manage this particular customer now. So we can see this customer is created, get some information, just double check that everything's all good, and move on to the next stage of this particular customer. So we've got this name, demo email security. We're going to go and jump into their management console, and then go straight into their protection console. We're just reviewing here quickly. We can see company management, add users if we want, to those who need to get information like notifications and stuff like that. But for now, we're going to focus primarily on just getting things set up. Okay, so let's go and click Manage Service here. This is going to take us to what we call the Protection Console. Now, the Protection Console allows us to basically manage everything from our side. Now, with our email security platform, we're not going to add any specific devices here, right? We got a separate tab that we can manage it. So we click on the email security, and it's going to take us to the email security section here. Now, Acronis didn't build the email security from scratch. We partnered with a company called Perception Point to offer email security. They are one of the leading email security platforms on the market today, and we have integrated our solution and their solution with us. And the integration is still ongoing to get full integration. So at the moment, it takes us to the email security console, which is separate. But the notifications and reportings will come through to the Acronis console as well. So with the email security solution, we don't add any devices in the Acronis console. We go to the section called email security in the Acronis console. We partnered with a company called Perception Point to offer and integrate their solution into our solution, the email security into our Cyber Protect Cloud solution, rather than building from scratch an email security solution, because it's a tried and trusted solution that's out there, one of the best. And so the integration is ongoing. At the moment, when we click on go to the email security console, it takes us to the separate console, but all the alerts and reporting information gets filtered through into the Acronis console. So to go and set everything up, we click on go to the email security console. Now, when you first get started and get provisioned, it can take a bit of time for the console to be provisioned on the email security side. So if it's not immediately available, just wait a bit and try again. And if there's still issues, obviously reach out to us and we'll try and help. Now, I have nothing configured at this stage, right, on my email side. So I would need to go ahead and add a specific email account to this particular platform. Now, we support Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace with integrations that do inline routing rules, within those platforms. So you configure routing rules within those platforms. We also support on-premise Exchange servers, as well as other email services where we do an MX record update on the DNS side of things. Now, I'm not going to be able to go through the full process of onboarding an email account, but because I don't have a domain here ready to set up, and it can take a bit of time for everything to get verified, but we'll go through the basic gist of what we can and can't do within this platform. So let's just show you what it's going to look like to onboard. There's a little plus sign right at the top right, which is the email setup wizard. We click on that. Right, in my case here, I'm just going to, because I'm logged in as the partner, I can assist all my customers, right? So I've got a whole bunch of customers here. I'm going to go email security customer here for the organization that I want to onboard. And I'm going to then choose the email service that I want to configure. Obviously, for something like Microsoft 365, it's inline routing rule. For things like on-premise Exchange, it's MX record update. And if you're using another email service, right, it's also MX record update as well. So for something like this, we will need to enter in the domain, and we can enter in multiple domains if we want. So I'm going to go safecloud.co.za. Right, it's going to then search for the SMTP server. Right, it's going to tell me the next SMTP server, and I can click connect. Now, I've already configured, so this one's already set up. So it's telling me it's already configured, right, because I've already added it to the platform. But once we go through that stage, and I'll take you to the next steps, it's going to give us some information about TXT records, which we need to update in the DNS side on your DNS provider, and then we'll then have an onboarding document that you can then run through the various steps that you can do to onboard your Microsoft 365. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm actually just going to quickly jump to a existing account that has some usage. All right, this is going to be very useful because it's going to show you exactly what level of protection that we have within this particular platform. So I'm going to drop down there, right? Similarly, as I'm logged in as a partner, we have an overview, so I can jump between my different customers to manage them. Now you can see this is our dashboard here, right? And it's showing us quite a bit. It doesn't quite like to be zoomed in quite so much. Why is this looking so weird? Apologies. So I'll just refresh there and show. I was zoomed in a bit too much and it wasn't scaling very nicely. Okay, so this morning I sent some malicious emails through to the various domains that I'm checking and protecting, just to add some noise to this platform. And we can see that the dashboard, which we call the X-ray, shows the X-ray dashboard, gives us the insights into some very useful information that we've got available. What protection level do we have? What is the breakdown of the various types of threats? Malicious, spam, suspicious emails, etc. What layers have we been protected? But the emails have been stopped at certain layers. Now, with our solution, it's a multi-layer protection. Right? We do scan emails at multiple layers to ensure that we get the maximum amount of protection, because there's multiple techniques that the bad guys use to try and infiltrate your systems, get past your defenses. And so we have policy protection, where it checks for allowed and blocklisted URLs, domains, senders, receivers, etc. So you can customize those policy rules. Who should be able to who should you be able to receive emails from? What URLs should be allowed in emails, etc. Then we have the spam protection, then threat intelligence, then antivirus, then anti-phishing protection. Then the next step is business email compromise, which protects your internal users from someone impersonating another user within that organization to try and extract information or get them to perform some task, like, for instance, pay an invoice to an outside bank account or something like that. And the final step of protection that we have is our unique take on zero-day threats. And this is for bit like content arming and reconstruction or sandboxing, but it uses unique CPU-based technology to allow for very fast scanning and analysis of malicious files as well. Right? It drops the time down for scanning attachments from minutes to seconds, whilst also preserving the integrity of the attachment so it doesn't damage anything as well. And we can see at what level that is being detected, and those threats have been stopped. We can also see who are
the way that they describe, a business compromised email code. Yeah, it's very cool, very, very cool, nice and easy to understand.
Yeah, that's the thing is that, so what I like a lot about this particular platform is at a glance you can see that you're protected, and I'll show you when we go a bit further just how in depth you can really go into investigating. But for most people, they just want to make sure that they're protected and resolve any issues. Maybe a false positive came through, an email was blocked, and how we just need to quickly release it for whatever reason, right? Another also useful thing, you can see who your most attacked people are. This is useful because you can monitor them a bit more closely, or make sure that they are further protected, maybe try and see why they're being attacked a bit more. You can also nominate certain people as VIPs as well for extra monitoring. Right? These would maybe your executives, people working in finance departments, who are usually the most targeted for email attacks. You can also see who's attacking you the most, right? As well as the most impersonated brands. And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to switch from the last day to the last quarter, and you see just how what level of attacks we get. Some of these are deliberate from my side for pushing threats to it, but some of them are just the generic stuff that comes out. That's out there in the world. So if I click last quarter, we're going to see that I am got various companies like Google, Microsoft, FedEx, Diners Club, Standard Bank. A lot of them are trying to send invoices with lots of statements are trying to get you to click through things. These are all malicious, not legitimate emails coming from these various organizations, and these are being blocked, and my users are being protected. Now, of course, we can see some various information at the top here, right? We can see the amount of traffic over the last day or last week or last month. So this is traffic that's coming into the platform and being scanned, right? We can also go ahead and view all our scans, right? And we can get some information on them. So I'm going to drop this down just to the last day, just to get some, just to reduce a lot of the noise that we've got there. And we can also choose what types of the verdict we want to see. So only malicious, restricted, spam, suspicious, etc. We can also see organization, which the breakdown of the subject. So you can get a very nice insight into what kind of threats are out there. For those of you who really want to dive deep into adding extra levels of protection, you can see that what are the types of subjects and information that we're getting from particular users, who the senders are, what engine it's being stopped at, etc. And here we can see my various threats that have come in just today. So we've got a few that have come in, right? Some malicious threats that have been blocked and detected. And we can actually click on the emails themselves, and it expands out and shows some information that might be useful. So if I click on this particular email here, it's going to tell me what some information on this particular attack, and as well as the attack path. So this is some sort of phishing attack. It got blocked at the phishing layer. And if I want to, I can go and see the screenshot of this particular email that was sent to me. Right? This is going to be useful. This is not the screenshot of the email. What this is the screenshot of the links. So that's one of the things that this particular platform does that's very useful, is if there's malicious links, it'll go and click on those links and follow the thread and take screenshots of what it was looking at. So you can go and see the particular threat. And, I mean, this is just a blatant attempt to steal a credit card, right?
Still, it's important also for end users. You can use this to educate your end users. It's great.
On top of that, I can actually go and preview what the email said. And in my case, this is a simulation from my side. I just went to the Fish Tank website and just copied a whole list of phishing domains and just pasted them in just to spam the system there. But what this shows is, and what's an important part of this as well, is that you can configure the system to ensure that to have your users be emailed from the email security platform. They'll get an email with a snapshot of what the email actually said, so that the emails are not just going into a black hole and no one's seeing anything and just disappearing. Your users will say, they'll get an email saying malicious email has been detected. This is what it looks like. Then you can contact the administrator to say, if it's a false positive, okay, I know this is safe, release it. It's been caught for some reason, etc. Or you can at least see what it's being said, and then they can ignore it if needs be. The administrators, and you can also configure the users to get this kind of information. What's nice about it is, because it's a screenshot or an image rather, it's benign and no one can click on the links. So there's no threat and no danger on that side of things. We can, of course, also get some more information on this particular email if we need to as well. Dive into some of the in-depth information. We can go and see the links that are added to this particular email. We can view a summary of the email, who it was sent from, the IP address. We can even check the email headers to see exactly why it was detected, and get some information on, say, where it failed. For instance, it was no virus. There was no virus detected in this header, but it failed on the spam, etc. Of course, you can also get some more information on the specific links as well. You can click on each of them and it'll take you to tell you why it's specifically a malicious link, for instance, whether it's active or not. So if I click on this particular one here, this one should say it's up, right? It was caught in our anti-phishing engine, etc. Now, of course, we can scan this link with VirusTotal. We can configure our policies directly from here. So it also gives you a level of control. So if, for instance, this was a legitimate link and I wanted to say, add it to my whitelist, say, okay, don't consider this one malicious anymore. Because of the policy, I know it's safe. I can do that. Otherwise, I can add it to a blacklist and it'll then be further tuned. I can also change the verdict as well. This is useful for tuning the system a bit, right? Because occasionally you might get some false positives and you want to say, okay, this is clean, or this is URL is suspicious, etc. On top of that, we also have the ability right at the top to do some more actions with the email. If we need to release it, if it was a false positive, we can release it and it'll be sent on to the end user. We can alternatively just delete it directly from the console, and then it just disappears. But we also have the option here to request an investigation. And the email security team has an incident response team that can investigate a bit further into specific emails. You can ask them to investigate the email, provide a bit of comments, or you can provide a bit more context on whether you think it's spam or whether you think it's clean, and get them to investigate to provide you with some more information on this particular email as well. Moving back a bit, I want to show you some of the antivirus levels of protection that we have within this particular platform. So let's just go back, and I want to just show you this particular email here because I think it highlights the power of what our solution can actually do. Now, this is an Excel document that has some credential stealing code in it, right? It drops some malicious codes that tries to steal credentials from the system. And it was in a zip file that was password protected. So the solution can actually open the zip file and in certain cases extract the information from a password protected file. And we can see exactly where it was blocked, what type of threat it was, and it was scanned with multiple antivirus engines as well. Right? And we can actually go and get a lot more information on it. And this is really going to be a lot of information for you if you are a threat investigator, or you're really into the cybersecurity side of things, because this is where it gets really cool and exciting. We can see how it extracts out the Excel document, shows me all the DLLs and binary files and everything that gets created, because it actually goes ahead and runs that application in a with our HAP analysis, right? We can go ahead and see here. It's running this Excel document in Excel 2016 all the way 2010, etc. And it's showing us, we can go and see the screenshots of what it was actually doing, right? It's going to step us through the screenshots and showing us all the information on various versions of Microsoft Excel, shows us what it was doing, explains to us why it was detected, goes through all the code. It's very in-depth, very involved, right? Now, in my opinion, most people are not really going to be looking for all of this, right? But it just shows the level that you can actually go ahead and see here. You can see what that particular machine did, what files were dropped, were placed in the system, what registry editories are made, what calls it made. So whatever it did, it downloaded a specific file called nkent from this particular, that IP address. And we can go ahead and view that particular file here if we wanted to get some insight into that. So it's a very impressive email security platform, right? So we can see there, right? Now, moving back up again here, going back to insights, and I want to then show you what we've got from this settings perspective. So you can see it offers that level of protection across all your email accounts. You can have multiple domains and organizations protected with this particular platform. But going into the settings side of things, I just want to very quickly touch on what is available and what we can do. Now, we can configure this is for the policy settings, right? Configure the senders, recipients, the whitelist, the block list, IP addresses, URLs, etc. So this is all we can go and configure your policy as needed from here. Right. We can, of course, also configure the policies for our URL follow list as well, which should be considered safe, etc. Another useful task is, and some of you may be familiar with this, is the disclaimers, right? You can actually put disclaimers on your on automatically injected into emails. This is very useful for adding an extra level of visibility for your end users. Right. So maybe, for instance, this unscanned password protected. So as I mentioned, in certain cases, it can extract the file from a password protected zip file, for instance. But in some cases, the very sophisticated attackers might not be possible, and this will alert you that this is a password protected file that we couldn't fully scan. Please be aware. Take a bit more care when you're opening this particular file. Or this is the first time you've received this email from someone. Double check things, make sure that they're safe, etc. You know, we all know these types of headers that can get added to the platform. From a preferences perspective, so I'll move back to domains just now, we can configure the various settings that we have configured here. We can choose from a detection side of things to follow rules, to follow the URLs. So should it follow on, you know, as I said, it clicks on through the rules. So it should exclude high reputation domains and unsubscribe links, so that it doesn't go and click on unsubscribe links and stuff like that. We also want to make sure we quarantining certain types of files. It's all very customizable in that regard. But what's really useful is the kind of reports that you can get: weekly reports, monthly reports, information on your domains, right? So who's being attacked, who's most attacked, etc. This gives you just a weekly and a monthly report on how much you're being attacked, etc. And on top of that, having the alerts set to administrators and also to the end user if you choose as well.
It's fantastic. It's such a good tool. That
it's a great addition to the particular platform. Right, onto the domain side of things, and this is going to circle back to a little bit of the onboarding side of things. Right. If I click on the Safe Cloud here, right, we added the domain, and now the process is to add TXT records to your DNS service, right? This is where you're hosting your specific domain for your email, right? What then it does is it does a validation task on that TXT records, right? And then you can for Microsoft 365, we've got an onboarding document that takes you through that whole process of onboarding, and that you can download. It usually, once you've gone through the first steps and onboarding, it'll give you a link to download it, but it's always available right in the domain side of things as well. So we click on it and it takes us to a PDF document that you can download, and it shows you the onboarding process, right? What to do. I'm not going to go through in all the details, but it guides you through every step of the process: whitelisting IP addresses, adding the connectors for Microsoft 365, configuring the routing rules, etc. And of course, we always have a support team available to assist you if you come stuck with any of these particular steps. But they're fairly straightforward to follow, and it gives information on how to do this. Once that's all set up and verified, right? So in my case, yeah, this is all verified. Emails will be coming through, and then you'll be protected. That's kind of the highlight of our email security platform that we have. What's great about it is it adds an extra level of protection to your systems. Email is one of the biggest vectors where threats come in. Right? Most of our work is done through emails and messaging apps and stuff like that. But people are sending us attachments, files, folders, links that we need to click on to log into various things. And a lot of it is legitimate, but a good deal of it is people trying to either steal personal information, steal account credentials, steal credit cards, or otherwise drop malicious files on your systems. Now, the Acronis Cyber Protect agent can protect those systems, but wouldn't it be better if you could actually prevent those from actually even getting onto those systems? So it's another level that you have for protection. On top of that, for partners, it's a great upsell opportunity. Maybe you're just offering Microsoft 365 backup, but now you can offer email security. You can prevent a lot of the threats that your customers might be facing right up front with a great platform that's cost effective and integrated. So let's move back to the Acronis console and just show some things here. I'm going to jump to my other customer where I've got everything configured. And we'll see how the reporting and the information across my whole environment comes in, whether it's alerts from email security, alerts from my endpoints that are being attacked, etc. We can go ahead here. It's taking a bit of time to load. We go to monitoring and we can go and view my alerts. Right. I can see I've got suspicious emails that have been detected. I've got malware that's been detected in my backup. I've got malware that's been detected and blocked on my specific machines. Suspicious activity, that ransomware that's been run. We can see that we're attacked from everywhere. And this tool, using Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud and the email security, can block and prevent those threats from actually getting onto the systems and affecting you. On top of that, you can also get the information all in one place with the Acronis Cyber Protect solution. So yeah, we can see my email security alerts as part of my dashboard, and I can also generate reports showing those kind of information.
That's fantastic, Nick. Thanks so much.
No problem. Thank you.
Looking forward to just getting this set up for ourselves, actually.
Yeah, it's a good tool to use, and I throw, as I say, I throw a lot of stuff at it, mostly to generate alerts and to
just to check and see the resiliency, see what it picks up. As you said, if it's useless if you don't test it. So it's fantastic that the people that are going to watch this video can actually see that it's picking up on all the noise. I want to thank you very much for your time, Nick. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure, and yeah, thank you very much.